ready for the next battle.
I used to love the Tekken series. I fell out of love though when they started doing things like this. And there was a lot of emphasis put on character customization and juggling. To me it just started feeling really cheap. I'll get to Tekken and character customization later though. Today I'm here to talk about one of the bonus features the Tekken 5 had. An arcade version of Tekken 1, Tekken 2, and Tekken 3, as well as a little known game called Starblade. If it looks familiar, it's because you played Tekken 5, it's the loading screen at the start. It was released in arcades in 1991, and from what I understand it had a pretty kick-ass box. As these sort of shooters go, it's not bad, but there does however seem to be a complete lack of any music, save for the very last part of the game in the credits. There's also just a few parts of dialogue that get repeated over and over again.
Making a quick turn. Locate an enemy flagship commander.
What I love about this game, however, is what was clearly, in my opinion, spawned from it. So many times I thought while playing through this game, hey, that's just like Starwing. Yeah, that reminds me of Starwing. First I thought there may have been some stealing going on by the guys at Namco, but upon closer inspection, I think it may have been Nintendo. Nintendo's immensely popular Star Fox series was launched in 1993 with Starwing, Star Fox if you lived in America, for the Super Nintendo. The idea for it came from creative superstar himself, Shigeru Miyamoto, and was initially based on a similar style game they had planned for the NES. After slapping together the Super FX chip, they got working on the levels and the creative side of the game. Now I wasn't there, so I can't say for sure how things went down, but from what I've read, one man was responsible for the level design of the whole game. That seems like a big task for one man, right? Maybe on a particularly late night he decided to call on some inspiration from another game he'd seen. Imitation being the best form of flattery. I've also heard that talent imitates, but genius steals. Now Starblade starts by scrambling you from some sort of deep space vessel. Starwing starts in a similar way, by scrambling you from some sort of building. After launch, in the second part of Starblade, you travel through an asteroid field with many enemies hidden in the asteroids. In the second level of Starwing, you travel through an asteroid field with some enemies hidden in the asteroids. In Starblade, after we're done in the asteroid field, we head off directly through an enemy armada, speeding past ships that are in fact a box, and another type that looks a lot like a Star Destroyer from Star Wars. And in Starwing we follow, through an enemy armada containing ships that are a box, and a few that are Star Destroyer-esque as well. In the next section of Starblade we find ourselves navigating some geometric shapes in space. In another part of Starwing we find ourselves navigating some geometric shapes, also in space. After that we head down onto some sort of enemy installation and skim across the surface of it. Then in Starwing we head onto an enemy installation, skimming across the surface. When we get to the final act of Starblade we find ourselves descend onto an arid desert planet, only to fly inside to destroy the enemy core. In the final level of Starwing we descend onto a very similar desert planet, in much the same fashion. And at the end of that section, you guessed it, we head inside to destroy the final boss. There are a lot of very similar enemy types across both games as well, and both have a boss that spins in the middle of a large room while you destroy prism-shaped objects spinning around it before shooting at the core. Now, it's probably likely that when creating a game using this sort of graphics back in the day, there wasn't a great deal of choice as to how your bad guys looked. They were probably all going to be an amalgamation of pointy polygons, but still. You can't help but see similarities between the two. And don't forget that Starwing has a lot more depth than what I've just mentioned too. This is all speculation and hearsay, but it sounds plausible, right? Could this have been a creative nod to the guys that made Starblade, or is it all just a massive coincidence?